Nottinghamshire police have once again shown themselves to be the complete shower of shit that they are in yet another incident that frays public relations rather than strengthens them. 78-year-old Frank Wallington was driving home from his cousin's funeral in March 2022 when he came to a stop at a set of traffic lights. As he approached the lights, an ambulance on an emergency run came up behind him. Rather than go through the lights on amber, he stopped, but it seems the ambulance couldn't get through safely with Frank waiting where he was, and so he pulled forward a few feet in order to let the ambulance continue on its way to the emergency. Unbeknown to Frank, there was a traffic light camera on the set of lights that he was at, and he was pictured over the white line. Frank thought no more of it until he received a penalty notice through the mail from Nottinghamshire police. In fact, he had crossed the white line just 1.2 seconds after they had turned red. Frank appealed the ticket and stated the situation, but he was left without a response from Nottinghamshire police for almost a full year and has now been told that he must attend Nottingham Magistrates Court if he wishes to dispute the ticket. Mr Wallington of Walsall in West Midlands says he had been left feeling like a criminal despite doing nothing wrong, and he has always prided himself on being a competent driver. He said, "I'm being treated like a criminal without having done anything wrong. I don't think it's just. If I was caught speeding and caught, I would understand. If there was no other vehicles involved, I would probably have put my hands up and admitted it. Instead, I'm being punished for doing the right thing. The alternative was blocking and delaying an ambulance responding to an emergency. I can't deny that I was 1 second late going through the traffic lights, but my point is, they were very legitimate mitigating circumstances." He said, "I'm going to write to the court reiterating the points and tell them that I've been unjustly treated. I'm not going to drive 60 miles there and back, or to say that I can say in a letter. They are just not listening to what I'm explaining to them, and it's been incredibly frustrating." Now, it is an offence to cross the white line even when there is an emergency vehicle behind you, although making this as black and white as that seems a little bit unfair to me. In fact, Rule 219 of the Highway Code, Emergency and Incident Sport Vehicles, says you should look and listen for ambulances, fire engines, police, doctors or other emergency vehicles using flashing blue, red or green lights and sirens, or flashing headlights, or traffic officer and incident sport vehicles using flashing amber lights. When one approaches, do not panic. Consider the route of such a vehicle and take appropriate action to let it pass, while complying with all traffic signs. If necessary, pull to the side of the road and stop. But try to avoid stopping before the brow of a hill, a bend, a narrow section of road. Do not endanger yourself, other road users or pedestrians, and avoid mounting the curb. Do not brake harshly on approach to a junction or roundabout, as a following vehicle may not have the same view as you. Frank put nobody at risk and no one was in danger, although they could have been had he stayed where he was and the ambulance couldn't get through. The police have discretion, although I don't agree with it, but yet they choose to allow a 76-year-old who has held a driving licence for 20 years to be punished for allowing an ambulance on an emergency run to get past him whilst not endangering any other road user. This is one of those times where police discretion should be used. I think it's disgusting how the police will use their discretion when it suits them, but in genuine cases where discretion should be used, they are more interested in criminalising a person and making money out of them.